In the far future, where the last vestiges of scarcity, natural and artificial, had both been banished, and the questions of what is authentic and what is real had been wrestled with, body slammed, hit with a steel chair, and then choked out until the ref gave a 10 count, there are still vast dilemmas that the average man has to grapple with. And then she gave me her number, Frank. And you couldn't tell her that we are running a campaign on Thursdays? Frank asked. If I told her we were playing a campaign, she would have wanted to join, and... They both continued in unison. Absolutely no dates are allowed in the campaign unless you've been official for a year. Frank continued. Yeah, I get it. Neither of us want to run afoul of Her Eminence, Mistress of the Fun Police. Hey, she's the best game master we've ever had. I'm not going to run afoul of the rules. The many, many rules, Frank opined. In light of that, I'd rather use one of my rescheduling passes. So, what you're saying is, rather than tell her you're busy that day, you're going to use one of your few chances to reschedule the campaign just to meet a girl. I thought the group had agreed to save those in case Sarah brings back the Lich again, so Jack has time to break into her place and get a copy of the dungeon. Don't make me tell Sarah the group is plotting to steal campaign notes. That's against Rule 27. And snitching is Rule 17, Alex, Frank said. So you couldn't take her out on a date any other day of the week, forcing us to reschedule the campaign because you wanted this Thursday to take out a girl you just met. Alex looked indignant. We met 3 weeks ago at the coffee shop, and I didn't want her to think I didn't want to go out. Anyway, I offered to pick her up before I thought about it. You had your hovercraft recycled 2 months ago because it was making a funny noise, and you didn't want to learn how to fix it. How are you going to pick her up? Well, most of the time I just walk everywhere anyway, so yeah, I'll have to get a new ride, Alex said, scratching his head. That's a funny way of saying you didn't want to have either Jack or Sarah teach you. Jack literally drives an antique hovercraft. He's still mad that you didn't let him take your old one for parts, Frank said. I told Jack I was sorry, okay? Frank stood up and started walking over to the terminal. Let me guess, you want to use my printer? What are you going to get as your chariot, oh mighty knight? Well, if I get another hovercraft, Jack is going to kill me, while Sarah watches with a bowl of popcorn, Alex said. But I was thinking, since it was going to be in the city, something on wheels. Frank pressed a few buttons on his keyboard and he narrowed down the options. So that eliminates most auto drones and rocket boards. I'm assuming you don't want a convertible either? You know most people still consider those a form of hovercraft, right? And where we're going, we'll need to take the roads. Frank clattered away on the keyboard, looking at other options. So, nothing that flies or even thinks about flying. Got it. Where are you going, anyway? Sherpenterp, Alex said, looking slightly embarrassed. Frank patted out a bunch more on the keyboard. How retro. Have you thought about going in a battle mech? Maybe like the one Hannah uses for cosplay? Too cramped for 2? This is only a first date, Alex moaned. Jotting out more keys, Frank paused to scratch his chin. Motorcycles are probably out too, then. Shame, really. I wanted to see what a finished Kuzuyaki model looks like. Frank cocked his head. Are you sure you don't want close quarters? This girl gave you her number after she has you scheduled a date on the spot, and she was the one who asked you out. I don't know how to ride a bike, much less a motorcycle, Alex said. Really, my dude? Whatever. Let's see, how about a truck? Alex raised an eyebrow. Do I look like I want to be asked to help people move stuff every time they move? The last thing I need is for Jack to guilt-trip me into driving 4 hours to pick up some antique for him. Hey, it isn't my fault Jack doesn't trust transport services. That was Hannah's fault. Sure it was. And Hannah is the reason why that gossamer rabbit nearly wiped our party, Alex said. She could have told me the Lich was possessing it before Sarah told us to roll initiative. And the hand gesture she made did not count. I thought she was crushing a peace sign, not killing the bunny. How does that even make sense? Frank noticed that Alex was just glaring at him, and offered a different suggestion. How about a tank? They don't take as long to print as you would think. That sounds way lame. I don't need her thinking I play lightning combat. What if she works for the government? She might think I'm after her for her security clearance. I guess walkers are also out, although I guess you already pooped on using a mech anyway. How about a car? Frank asked. Alex looked appalled. A car? Frank, be honest with me. Would you even download a car? Alex asked. I guess not. I wouldn't download a car, much less be caught driving one, Frank had to admit. Exactly. You wouldn't download a car, Alex said, as his face lit up. Forget about it. I got it, he added, heading for the exit. Frank blinked in confusion. Alex? What is it? Alex? Sherry checked her watch. Maybe she could have offered to pick Alex up instead. She was the one who asked him out after all. She just hoped if he got cold feet, he would text her. Then she felt a deep rumble before she heard it. Is that? She murmured to herself before it barreled down the street straight at her. Hey, Sherry. Sorry that I'm a bit late, came Alex's voice from atop the gigantic dinosaur. I hit a bit of traffic. Don't worry, though. We have plenty of time to make our reservation. Here, let me help you climb on. She couldn't look at him for a moment. Alex had brought a T-Rex for their first date. Is something wrong? Alex asked. No, Sherry said, trying and failing to hide her smile. Let's get going.